How much would it cost for the Seattle Seahawks to extend Charles Cross this offseason? What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Happy Saturday. Hope you guys are doing well. We have made it to the weekend. We are 1 day short of the AFC and NFC championship games. Going to be very interesting, but the Seahawks will not be playing in either of those games. The Seahawks are in their offseason like most other teams, and they're thinking about things like what kind of contract extension should we be handing out to some of our players. At least that's what I'm thinking about. We've spent enough time talking about cuts and trades and extensions and restructures and all that fun stuff. We spent enough time on that. I want to turn the page to the next little series on this channel. We're still waiting on offensive coordinator news. I will jump on that just as soon as we get confirmation on a hire. But for now, we're going to let that sit until something new presents itself. And now I want to talk about a very interesting upcoming decision tree the Seahawks have to make. The 2022 NFL draft for the Seattle Seahawks was a great one. It produced a lot of high-end starters. It produced a lot of quality role players. And while the team has not quite been able to cash in on the benefit of having all those good young cheap players on the team, they have doubtlessly been a big part of this team finding a way to some modicum of success over the last 3 years in what was supposed to be a little bit of a rebuild after the Russell Wilson trade. But after 3 seasons, the players become eligible for contract extensions. Most of the players in the 2022 draft that the Seahawks got are entering the final year of their rookie contract. So some of them, well, let's be real here. All of them want contract extensions. They want to start making more money, and they want long-term security. So the Seahawks are going to have to decide, who do we extend? Because here's the thing. Here's the thing to understand here, and here's why you do this. There is a mutually beneficial relationship between team and player when determining these extensions when they have years left on their current deal. The player wants to get it done because he wants long-term security, and the team wants to get it done because the player will presumably give them a little bit of a break because they're taking care of him early. So it behooves you to at least consider, maybe not do, but consider an extension for any good player coming out of his 3rd year in the NFL. So we're going to start this little series with Charles Cross. We're going to talk about the Charles Cross potential contract extension. And I'm going to take a look at Charles Cross as objectively as I can. And then we're going to compare that to other similar players in recent memory. And we're going to try to get an idea of what a Charles Cross contract extension might look like. Please like this video if you haven't already. Click the thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, click the bell for notifications, become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to help support the channel. And look, Charles Cross, little bit controversial in some Seahawks circles. Not me. I think Charles Cross has blossomed into a very, very good, maybe even great football player, and I want him to be a Seahawk for a long time. I absolutely want him to get a second contract, and the sooner the better in my book. So you're looking at Cross. The thing to understand is he came into the league young. He was 21 when he started playing football in the NFL. He just turned 24 back in late November. So he may not even be in his final physical form. There might be some capacity for Charles Cross to get even better from here. So far in his career, he's missed 3 games. He got injured in week 1 in 2023, missed the next 3 games, came back, muddled through an injury-plagued season, but he didn't let it keep him out of games. So he has played in all but 3 potential games so far as a Seahawks. So availability is good with him. Now, if you want to talk about how good his play is, there is a little bit of debate there. And while I understand why there is debate, I don't really agree with the arguments made by people who think that he's not good. You go to Pro Football Focus, and I'm not saying Pro Football Focus always has the right bead on things, but they grade him very well for the most recent season, 82.5. Maybe not elite, but very, very good. You go back to 2023, the previous year. This was the year he played through an injury. His grade was slightly above average still. I think that's notable, and I think that's actually commendable, given the fact that he was playing through, I think they said it was turf toe, and that's no joke. Go back to his rookie year, when again, he was 21 years old when the season started. He was giving you about average level play. It was approximately league average, according to PFF. Now, it's funny because it's actually PFF that makes a lot of people think that Charles Cross might not be all that, because they attribute a very high number of pressures allowed to Charles Cross in this most recent season. If you go to PFF, they say he committed 47 pressures allowed in 2024, and that was near the top of the league. And a lot of people say, well, that means he just can't be that good. He's allowing too many pressures, to which I say, balance the offense out, start running the ball, stop being so predictable with what you're doing from pre-snap to post-snap, and a lot of those pressures go away. A lot of those pressures are there because opposing defenses know exactly what we're doing before the play even gets started. And if you give Charles Cross a normal offense, you are probably looking at one of the best left tackles in the game. So with that being said, let's try to figure out what an extension might cost. So in order to do that, we're going to go to Spotrac. We're going to sort the list of biggest NFL contracts for left tackles, because that's what Charles Cross is, by average annual value. So let's start at the top here. The number one player currently on this list is Tristan Wirfs. Now, Tristan Wirfs, I don't think is a good comp, so I'm going to skip right over this one. Wirfs got just over $28 million, by the way, about $28.1 million per year against the cap. But if you look at Tristan Wirfs, he's kind of the gold standard right now. Tristan Wirfs has made 4 straight Pro Bowls, and he's made first-team All-Pro twice, and he made second-team All-Pro once. So this is basically the guy right now when it comes to football at the left tackle spot. So I don't think this is a good comp. By the way, he won a Super Bowl in his rookie season. I just don't think you can draw that equivalency. Also, it's worth noting, Tristan Wirfs had to wait until after his 4th season to get extended. So he is not getting taken care of early. He got taken care of after the 4th year. Cross is getting taken care of after the 3rd year, so in theory, he should be able to come down on his asking price just a little bit. And as much as I do think Charles Cross played at a roughly Pro Bowl level last year, he didn't make it. He didn't make the All-Pro team. He didn't get that kind of hype. So there's not the impression around the league that Tristan Wirfs is on the level of Charles Cross. He is on a higher level. So I don't think we're there yet. I'm skipping over Trent Williams because he was 36 years old when he signed his extension, so that has there's no equivalency between Trent Williams' extension and Cross's extension. They're 2 guys in completely different places in their life, in their career, and the priorities of the teams that they're on are completely different while we're at it. So the next guy I would look at would be Christian Darrisaw of the Minnesota Vikings. When he was 25 last offseason, he signed a deal that I think is going to be very interesting to us. 4 years, $104 million, $26 million per. So $26 million a year per Christian Darrisaw. You take a look at his career over the first 3 years. He missed more games than Charles Cross. He didn't win any accolades. He never made a Pro Bowl, never made an All-Pro team. If we go over to Pro Football Focus here, 2023, which was the most recent season in determining his extension, he was very good, not elite, but basically the same realm as Charles Cross was, right? 82.4. Cross this most recent season was, 82.5, so almost identical. The year before that, by the way, Darrisaw was ranked even higher. They gave him a 90 plus. They thought he was elite at left tackle in 2022. So, I mean, Cross hasn't had a 90 ranked season yet. And then even his rookie year, Darrisaw had a 72, which is well above average. So it looks to me like Darrisaw is probably held in a little bit higher regard and it probably had a little bit of a better 3-year run than Cross did. But it's really not like we're not talking about some big margin here. He missed significant time in his first 3 years. In his first 3 years, he started 39 games. Cross in his first 3 seasons has started 48. And I know that Darrisaw, I know that the Pro Bowl is a joke, and I know that All Pro is susceptible to making big mistakes as well. But bottom line is, there are no accolades that mark this guy as being known to the public as being on that level, on the Tristan Wirfs level. And by the way, Christian Darrisaw was a first-round pick as well, so they had the leverage of not only that 4th year, but the 5th-year option. And they still gave him 4 years, $104 million. I'm skipping over Laramie Tunsil. He signed that contract when he was 28, so it's not a worthwhile comparison to make. And we're going down to Andrew Thomas now of the Giants, who 2 off seasons ago signed his extension, 5 years, $117.5 million, $23.5 million per year. And Andrew Thomas, if you look at his first 3 years, because he played 3 years and got the extension, he did make 1 second-team All-Pro. He did miss a couple of games across his 3 years. So not quite as durable as Cross, but he does have an accolade, and he got that accolade in his final year before getting the extension. That probably helps. You go to PFF, and you look at that 2022 season that earned him that money, 89.1, pretty much elite production according to PFF. Previous year, 79, also very, very good. And you go to his rookie year, it was slightly below average, but still manageable, still workable. So you look at this, and it becomes relatively clear. Let's also remember that Andrew Thomas signed his contract 2 off seasons ago. You've gone too far. Once you get past Andrew Thomas, you're looking at guys like Jordan Maltaya, Garrett Bowles, Dion Dawkins, Taylor Decker. These guys aren't really good comparisons. A lot of them were older when they signed these extensions. Get all the way down to Colton Miller, and he signed for $18 million a year. I don't think that's a good comp. Cam Robinson got $18 million a year. I think this was originally from Jacksonville. I think that Charles Cross is held in higher regard than those guys and will get paid more than those guys. Remember, for whatever it's worth, and I know a lot of people would argue this shouldn't matter, Charles Cross has top 10 pedigree as well. So once you get down to comparing him to guys that don't have that top 10 pedigree, it's probably lesser value for them compared to what Cross can get. So Andrew Thomas is probably the point where you need to step back and realize, hey, I've gone a little too far here. So the answer is more than Andrew Thomas got, but less than what Tristan Wirfs got. So I think the answer is right about what Christian Darrisaw got. I think that he will come in a little bit lower than, a little bit lower than Christian Darrisaw relative to the cap, but I think the actual dollar amounts on the contract are going to be about the same. 4 years, $104 million. That is my estimation on a contract extension for Charles Cross. 4 years, $104 million. You tag that on to the final year of his rookie deal, which is about $7 million, and you're talking about really 5 years, $111 million. Now, the extension itself is going to be the $26 million per, but the full length of the contract will be a little bit less than that on an average annual salary because you're factoring in that 4th year of his rookie deal into the extension. So that is what I am currently aiming at. That is currently what I think Charles Cross will cost based on other similar players and the contracts they have gotten in recent years. Maybe there's a little bit of a penalty for Cross because of all the pressures he allowed this last year. Again, it was near the league lead. I understand that. But for my part, I think that there's an understanding that that was circumstantial and Cross wasn't doing anything wrong. I've actually looked at data that indicates he was very much doing things right, and the circumstances of his offense were why he was giving up so much pressure. So that's my take on the Charles Cross extension. 4 years, $104 million. Am I doing it? yeah, I'm doing it. I would do that in a heartbeat. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. See you guys later. Go Hawks.